What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we need to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what shorts did, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, SoFi did go down 0.74%, but today was one crazy volatile day. So it did have a high of $6.86 and a low of $6.71. Pre-market, it did actually hit $6.70, as you can kind of see right here. Shorts were increasing first thing, and that was piggybacking off of the whole regional bank news. So I think it's estimated around 63 banks, regional banks, are on the verge of insolvency. So that was taking a little bit of a toll on SoFi. But as soon as the market did open, it had a very nice spike up. This was brought on because of shorts returning. So shorts were increasing here, returning here, as well as some institutions were buying. I'm going to talk about all the data and stuff like that. But when this was occurring, I was just saying WTF, because knowing my luck, I returned some of my position yesterday, or I sold some of my position yesterday, and obviously it just has to spike, right? That's how it typically does work. But without that buying continuing, it was very short-lived. It, like I said, bounced off of a very strong resistance level, and so it kind of was trending down from there. No news from SoFi today, no SEC filings, so rather quiet from them. Like I said, shorts did increase first thing, so they were increasing around 3 million shares. As soon as the market did open right here, that's where they returned about 2 million at the same time as this. So a good handful of transactions that did occur first thing, one big one as well, so 1.45 million. So all of that combined caused this right here. Question is why? I'm not really sure. I have no reason why institutions would be increasing their position today, because my watch list was very, very red, and then you had SoFi green for whatever reason. So definitely very interesting. As far as an explanation, there might be some rumors floating around that I'm not really aware of, but still, like I said, it was kind of short-lived. When it comes to shorts though, today they did increase 284,000 shares. But that is a drop in the bucket, considering 182.05 million shares overall are being shorted. 17.53% of the free float is being shorted. Cost of borrow average 1.02, and then utilization 75.16. So all in all, shorts are still very much ingrained in what happens with SoFi, because even looking at the dark pool, which primarily is shorting, like there was quite a lot of transactions that was done today, as you can kind of see right there. So as usual, shorts and manipulation are just ingrained in SoFi, which is very, very unfortunate. One thing that I did want to share with you, so this shows the September 18th meeting. So this did go up. So it went from originally 30% to now 56.7%. And so that's the likelihood during that meeting of a 25 basis point cut. And then right here, this was non-existent. Now it is 9.9. That is anticipating a 50 basis point cut. So definitely there might be a rate cut sooner rather than later, and so that would be absolutely huge for the broader market, and in turn through that SoFi as well. Looking at options, a lot of money was getting into SoFi through options. 3 million in calls, 1.02 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 46% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish, but with shorts increasing, I'm sure some of that was correlated with shorts just hedging their bets just in case SoFi was to kind of go up, and that's part of the vicious cycle that I've kind of explained in the past. But one thing I wanted to share with you is looking at the open interest. You do see 30,000 at that $7 strike price, 18,000 at 750, and then 12,000 at 8. So it is fair to assume once again that SoFi is going to struggle with that whole $7 mark, but based on the technicals, I think it's oriented towards more downside, but I'll go over that in a second. So a couple things I wanted to show you is that there's a small wall, so 4,000 at that 650 strike price. So if SoFi, because of ADP non-farm employment is coming out tomorrow, payroll is coming out on Friday, if those data points are negative, this is where you could see SoFi potentially being pushed down. So let's say SoFi settles around the maybe 660 range. You might have shorts once again trying to suppress it below that 650, but then again, it's only 4,000, so it's not all that much. So just kind of watch for that. SoFi usually does get manipulated based on the options activity. So that's a very clear indication that it's obviously a market maker that is shorting SoFi, but still something to kind of keep in mind for the rest of the week. And again, if you guys do options, adjust accordingly. So one thing that I'm going to be doing to really, I guess, collect premiums / get my shares back, because I did sell out some of my shares, I'm going to be selling puts. So if you guys don't know how to sell puts or what that's all about, I really recommend doing that on stocks that you like, because it either will be exercised at the price that you want, or you just get to keep the premium, for instance, if the stock does keep going up. So in my opinion, it's kind of a win-win, especially on stocks that you do like. But still, moving on from here, with it closing at $6.72, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So $6.65 is going to be that next strong support, and that actually has been the diamond saving support on SoFi in the past. So hopefully that does continue to be true, because in the past when there's been significant sell-offs, like that S2 has been amazing. So definitely watch for that to hold. Vice versa, $6.74 is going to be that next strong resistance, but with it kind of moving up after hours, it's kind of sitting on that right now. So just watch for it to stay above or below that. So this S1 will probably be flirted with quite a lot going into tomorrow, but then again, dependent on ADP, non-farm employment numbers and whatever else. And then $6.88 is that next strong resistance point that's above that 674, depending on what happens based on that. So this 688 clearly was what caused it to bounce off of this general area. So yeah, it's just trading within range. Like I said on my video over this last weekend, this week is more of a technical driven week. And on the actual chart, it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Stochastic, you do see it as very oversold, as well as a bearish deviation. So red line above the white. One very interesting thing is over this last couple of days, ever since March the 31st, retail has been selling very much so, like dramatically. Like someone, I don't know, there's some crazy warning that must have happened, but retail seems to be selling. So are you selling? Are you buying? What have you been doing with SoFi? Or have you possibly been doing options? Like what's your viewpoint on all of that? And actually, even if you look back, technically retail has been slowly selling, looks like ever since May the 20th, and then whatever happened on the 31st. So I don't know if there was news that did occur on either of those days, but very interesting points, right? You'd assume, especially with SoFi being primarily owned by retail, that they would be buying the dip, but it seems to be very discouraging. And I think it all has to do with just SoFi struggling with that whole $7 range. It's very unfortunate, and this is why hopefully someone actually does look into SoFi, because the manipulation is absolutely killing it. So in reality, this is why I did actually sell out yesterday. It pained me to do that, but I think bigger and better things will be coming down the pipeline for SoFi once their earnings do get locked in. And so yeah, I think they'll have another home run earnings, and hopefully at that stage that will entice investors, or more so institutional investors, to get in on SoFi. But I did point out, a little asterisk in the past, not really Vanguard or BlackRock, because a lot of those larger institutions do lend out their shares. So that's kind of counterproductive to the manipulation, if that kind of makes sense. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with all that, I appreciate all of you watching.